Meta is turning toward a new avenue to make a profit off its AI computing powers. And an AI influencer is getting her own movie. Just two of many headlines we're seeing as we jump into our regular conversation about AI. Important, especially with the ever-changing and evolving technology and with Silicon Valley being at the center of all of this innovation. Joining me now is Darren Kimura, the CEO and president of Bay Area-based AI Squared. Darren, always great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Yeah, and we'll start with Meta. I'm going to reference my notes because I don't want to get this wrong. We know the company spent billions building AI data centers, and now it says its systems have so much computing power that it's looking to sell it off to some of the other tech companies. How does this impact the AI race?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty normal thing. So just about every large company, Amazon is a good example where, you know, AWS has its, or Amazon has its peaks during like Christmas when there's massive shopping. So during off periods of time, they sell their excess compute to the market. Same thing for Meta. So when they're not training a new model or they're not doing some new inference or running ads, if they have excess capacity, they can sell that to the market. So I think this is interesting because it adds one more competitor, perhaps even resets the price, maybe drops the price for AI inference.
Yeah, and so would we be seeing that kind of among some of the other companies as well as this continues?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they haven't announced when this is going to become available, so that'll be very interesting. But there is a lot of capacity that Meta is building, many others as well, of course, but Meta in particular. It's been said, I think they're spending $140 billion on compute, which is incredible. So when this does come online, I think this could actually improve, you know, at least from a startup perspective, improve the markets for us.
Okay, all right. And then I know that we have our eyes on Anthropic, and we know that the U.S. also lifted restrictions on the company's top AI models. How will this impact the industry going forward?
I don't think it impacts it that much. I mean, it is true that from a Department of Defense, Department of War perspective, for a period of time they were prohibited, and now that is lifted. Mythos, which is their new big model that they use for example, cybersecurity, that is actually still has some limitations on it. But Fable 5, which is the one that was shut down for a few weeks, that's now back. I think it does provide a little bit more capability. It raises the bar. Every time a new model comes out, it raises the bar for all the other models, so they have to, you know, then retrain their models and improve their capabilities.
Got it. And I know, okay, this is a talker in our newsroom. I feel like all of them really have been, but this morning, learning about Tilly Norwood, the AI-generated influencer, now coming out with her own movie. And so the company behind her, they said that this is going to be a hybrid project where it'll take on some human aspects also with AI. We often say AI is not going to take over jobs. We're seeing it in this situation because we're also hearing from actual real life actors and actresses just in their pushback of it. Your opinion on all of this and how you guys are talking about it in your own space?
I think it's pretty early. So yes, we're going to have to see, you know, a lot of what Tilly Norwood and other, you know, AI generated influencers, they're pretty short clips that have been done so far. So actually seeing this brought to a full-length movie is going to be quite interesting. You know, my staff, we calculated what it could potentially cost, and it could potentially be somewhere between $5 million to about $15 million just for the creation of that character for that period of time. So there is still a cost for that. So, you know, when you think about where it and how it can be used, I think it will initially be used in these hybrid environments where it's going to have, you know, humans. Perhaps these characters, in Tilly's case, she's going to be a lead character, but in many cases it could be for more dangerous or interesting stunts that couldn't be otherwise done. And I think over time, maybe over years, we'll kind of ease our way into seeing more and more of this on screen. It's definitely the direction which the industry is going in.
Yeah, and we're seeing kind of these AI influencers bring that little bridge to people who maybe aren't fully immersed into the AI culture. Are you all paying attention to Tilly Norwood, or how is that influencing you all?
I think it's interesting in the way that they developed her character. You know, she was intended to have flaws. She was intended to, you know, be not perfect and be, you know, unique in that regard. You know, saying things that are not always perfect, like an AI would otherwise always be perfect. So I think what their approach to creating that character is quite interesting. Quite early, again, as I mentioned before. I think you're going to have many generations of this type of technology be developed, put into the market, evolved upon before we actually see it become more real.
Okay. And now, regardless of how you're using AI, what's next for us? This will be our final answer.
I think we always love to talk about robots.
Yes.
I think that's where the most practical thing is. We're now being able to see robots do very, very actionable things like fold laundry and do household chores, cook for you, for example. That I think is very exciting and where we're primarily focused. And I think the next generation is really going to be on the next type of model, a model that can actually take into account the reality of the world, not just be text-based, but be what we call world models. Be able to have more human-like senses included in the Gen AI capabilities. So that I think is a few years away, but could really change the way we see things.
Yeah, and those advancements happening so quickly. Darren Kimura, the CEO of AI Squared, thank you so much for having this conversation with us every month. It has been very insightful.
Thank you.
All right, still ahead.